Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome back everyone to another session. We are now on lesson 35, page 46 and page 47, right? Last lesson we were going through reading practice, so hopefully you should have practiced everything and now be fully ready to go on to the next lesson. So this lesson we've got something called Qamaree letters. Qamaree letters, right? Qamaree letters and Shamsi letters. Some call them moon and sun letters. However, I prefer to use the Arabic. So Qamaree and Shamsi letters, right? Now, if we look here, right? If we look at here, can we see this alif, right? And you see the little sign on top? That sign is called Hamzatul Wasl. Hamzatul Wasl. Wasl means if something was to precede it, you won't pronounce it. And we'll get into that later. The main thing you need to just know for now, that when you see this and a lam after it was sukoon, 99% of the time, right, that's just a fatha on top, right? So just know that al in Arabic has many meanings. The main meaning is to make definite article to mean the. Use the. It has some other meanings, meaning all. It can mean all, depends on the context, but majority of the time means the. Now, so when we see this shape with the hamza, with the hamza al-wasl, and a lam here with sukoon, we just say al. Al. Right? That's the main thing we need to know in today's lesson. Al. So when we see it like this on its own, we say al. Right? Qamaru. Al-qamaru. Now, qamaru means the moon. The moon, literally, qamar is moon, right? Al-qamar is the moon, right? Al-qamaru. And this basically, we've put equals here, just is equals to normal alif with fatha, right? However, in the Mus'haf in the Quran, we will see it like this, with a hamza al-wasl. Why? Because if something precedes it, later on we're going to see when something precedes it, this won't be pronounced. We will go straight to the lam. And we'll get into that later on. Forget that for now. The main thing is, this is a hamza, one of the hamzas, right? Hamzatul wasl is called, hamzatul wasl. And it's the same as just saying al-qamaru, right? Now, if you notice, we say al-qamaru. Is the lam pronounced? Yes, the lam is pronounced. And pay attention to this because this is going to be important. Next lesson. Al-qamaru. So we pronounce the lam, right? So if the letter qaf comes after al, the definite article al, which means the, as we said, just for now, just say it means the. Al, if qaf comes after it, the lam will be pronounced, right? Likewise, if any of these letters here come after al, the definite article al, which means the, it can mean all, it can have some other shades of meanings. However, majority of the time, the, then we will pronounce the lam, right? We will pronounce the lam. And with practice, you just get used to it anyway. So we've got a, alif, ba, jim, ha, kha, ain, ghain, fa, qaf, kaf, mim, ha, waw, ya. Any of these letters come after the lam, al, sorry, then it'll be pronounced. So let's have a quick look. So we look at the first one. Can you see the hamzatul wasl? What did we say it's going to be? If we say hamzatul wasl and the next letter is lam sukoon, 99% of the time is al, definite article al. And when you learn Arabic, you'll know it's al anyway. You just know when you learn Arabic, right? Which will be the next stage, inshallah, after you learn how to read. So, al, I, seen with a sukoon, is, la, with alif, la, ma, al-islama, 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 right? Al-islama. Next one. Al, ba, raf sukoon, al-barqu, al-barqu, al-barqu. Next one. Remember, this is Hamzatul Wasl, and after is a lam sukoon. So we know this is the definite article al. When you define something, definite article, you define saying the teacher, the man, right? Don't forget that. Al ja نون with a shadda and a fatha. Jannah ta marbuta with a fatha. Ta. Al-jannata. Al-jannata. Then al-ha. Then qaf with a shadda and a fatha. Al-haqqa. Al-haqqa. Cool. Next one. Al kha with a ya uskun. Khay ra ti. Al khayrati. Al khayrati. Next one. Al a dha bu. So that has a fatha. Dha with a alif. Dha bu. Al adhabu. Al adhabu. Next one. Al gha ma mi. Al ghamami. Al ghamami. Next one. Al fitna tu. Al fitnatu. Al fitnatu. Right? Al qa, and then we got a taw of sukoon. Qatli. Al qatli. Al qatli. Next one. Al ki ta bi. Al kitabi. Al kitabi. Next one. Al mawludi. Al mawludi. Al mawludi. Al hu da. And don't forget, this is a alif maqsura. It's another long alif, right? It's alif just sitting on a ya, right? Al huda. Al huda. Next one. Al wa ki lu. Al wakilu. Al wakilu. Next one. Al yawma. Al yawma. Al yawma. So this is straightforward. If any of the letters, any of these letters at the top, if they come after the definite article al, the lam will be pronounced, right? Right, and you just get used to it, right? Now, going on to page 47, this is where it gets a bit juicy, right? It gets a bit interesting. If you look here, right, I have some called Shamsi letters, right? Shams means sun, right? Now, if we look here, we've got the Hamzatul Wasl, we've got the lam. Notice there's no sukoon on the lam. Notice there's no sukoon on the lam, and that's how it's going to look in the mushaf as well. So it's quite easy. When reading the mushaf, it's quite easy. So this is al. However, can we see here there's a sheen after the al? There's a sheen, and there's a shadda on the sheen and a fatha. So we'll start with the a, and we'll skip the lam pronunciation, although we write it in text. It's written, but it's not pronounced. Pay attention to this. So when we have al, the definite article al, and sheen comes after it, we will skip the lam, omit the lam only in pronunciation. In writing, it will stay. And we'll say ash, and then we will pronounce whatever vowel sign is on the sheen, whether it's a fatha or fathatain, whether it's a dhamma or dhammatain, whether it's a kasra or kasratain, we will pronounce it. So here we say asha, asha, and notice here that there's a shadda on the sheen anyway. It's written, so it's easy to notice, right? If you see a lam and after is a letter with shadda, just go to the letter with shadda, right? Cool. So we say asha, mim sukun, ashamsu, ashamsu. So the lam is not pronounced, although it's written. And this is equivalent to saying this here. A, with a sheen, with a shadda and a fatha. Asha, ashamsu. It's the equivalent in pronunciation, right? However, it will not be written like this, right? The alif lam will remain, right? Ashamsu, right? So don't forget that. So the easy way to remember is al-Qamaree. If there's a qaf after the lam, al, then we pronounce it. Then we pronounce the lam. We say al-Qamaree. If there's a sheen after the al, we will not pronounce the lam. That's why we say ash-shamsu. Ash-shamsu. Okay, however, sheen is not the only letter. Just like qaf is not the only letter for the moon letters, for the Qamaree letters. There are other Shamsi letters, and they are as follows, right? And an easy way, I actually memorize the Shamsi letters, because the most important thing is the Shamsi letters. They're the most important. The Qamaree letters, khalas, the al is pronounced. So really all you have to do is memorize the Shamsi letters, right? What are the Shamsi letters? Now, an easy way to remember the Shamsi letters is that the majority of the Arabic letters that are on the tip of the tongue, that you pronounce at the tip of the tongue, if they come after al, the lam will not be pronounced. I'll say that again. The majority of the letters that come on the tip of the tongue. Yeah, majority of the Shamsi letters are at the tip of the tongue, right? Pronounced at the tip of the tongue. When they come after al, the lam will not be pronounced, right? Because it's hard to say the al and then pronounce the letter after it when it's from the tip of the tongue. So let's look at this. You see, ta is the tip of the tongue. Ta. It's here. It's tip of the tongue, touching up. Ta, tha, tip of the tongue on the teeth. So to say alth, and then bring the tha after is heavy on the tongue. Dal, tip of the tongue. Dhal, tip of the tongue. Ra, tip of the tongue. Zai is not necessarily the tip touching anything, but it's towards the front, right? Seen, sheen, sad, dad, ta. You know, that's towards the front of the tongue, right? Va, front of the tongue. Lam, front of the tongue. Noon. So it's only seen, sheen, sad, and dad that are still using the tongue, or the point of articulation is close to the tongue, even though it doesn't touch directly. So all these letters are using the tongue, right? Now, if any of these letters come after al, the lam in al will not be pronounced. So let's have a look at what this looks like, right? This is the most important thing here. So we have so we have here ad, and notice we go straight to the ta. Al, so this is al, however there's a ta with a shadda and a fatha on it, right? So we say atta, right? At-taw, ba, tu. At-tawbatu, at-tawbatu. Next one, al. And then we got tha here with a shadda and a fatha. So the al, if you notice, there's nothing written on the lam. There's nothing. There's not a sukun, anything. So this is a clue that this lam is not going to be pronounced anyway. And the next letter is a shadda. So we're just going to go from the a straight to the shadda and say atha, wa, bi. Athawabi. So just straight ath. We don't pronounce the lam. Why? Because tha is one of the Shamsi letters, right? An easy way to know Shamsi letters is they're produced by the tongue, right? Mostly the tip of the tongue. Al-Thawabi. Next one. So this should be Al. However, there's a Dal coming after it with a Shadda and a Fatha. So we will say Adda, 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 Ad, Adda, Ma, Addama, Addama. Right, so notice the Lam is from the tip of the Alif, the Lam is from the tip of the tongue, right? And then we have Dal coming after it. So a Lam with Sukoon. We have a Lam with Sukoon and then a Dal coming after it. Quite heavy to pronounce, right? Say Al-Dam, Al-Dam, Al-Dam. For the Arab, that's difficult. So we get rid of the Lam and we just say, in pronunciation, Ad-Dama. Next one. Again, we've got the Al here. And then we've got a Dal with a Shadda and a Kasra. So we say Adhi. And make sure we hold, because the letter after the Lam has a Shadda. So we have to hold it. Adh. Adhi. Kaf with a Sukoon. Adhikru. 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 Next one. We got Al. And then we got Ra with a Shadda and then a Fatha. Arra. How Sukoon. Arrah. Ma. And then the Alif after it. Ma. Ni. Ar-Rahmani. Ar-Rahmani. So we say Arra. We don't say Al-Ra. Al-Ra. We can't even pronounce that. It's difficult. So Ar-Rahmani. Next one. We got Azza. Azza. Rav Sukoon. Az-Zar'a. 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 Next one. Again, we've got the definite article Al, but then we've got Seen after it with a Shadda and a Fatha. Seen is from the Shamsi letters, so we say As-Sa. Qaf with a Sukoon. As-Saqu. Fu. As-Saqfu. As-Saqfu. Next one. We've got Al, and then we've got Sheen with a Shadda and a Fatha. We say Ash-Sha-Jari. Ash-Shajari. Ash-Shajari. Next one. We've got the Al again. This time Sad with a Fatha. So it's easy. When we see Al and when the next letter has a Shadda, just go straight to the Shadda, right? And with time we'll know, okay, there's a Sun letter. It's a Shamsi letter. Cool. So Al-Sa. La. And then we've got Alif. Remember, Alif can sit on a Waw. It can sit on a Ya. Don't forget that small Alif. So we say La. Ta. Al-Salata. Al-Salata. Okay, so we have here A. So this is Al. This is Al, but we're going to go straight to the Dad that has a Shadda and a Fatha, and we'll say Al-Da. Al-Da. La. Alif after it. La. La. Ta. Al-Dalalata. Al-Dalalata. Then Al and then Ta with a Shadda and a Fatha. Al-Ta. La. Qa. Al-Talaqa. Al-Talaqa. The next one. Al-Dha. So we've got Al, and then we go straight to the Dha with a Shadda and a Fatha. So we say Al-Dha. Then we've got a Noon with a Shadda and a Kasra. Al-Dhanni. Al-Dhanni. Next one. Alif. Lam with a Shadda and a Fatha. Allah. Allah. Then a Ya Sukoon. الليل. الليل. Next one. So we have al, definite article al, meaning the. Then shadda on the noon and a fatha. Anna. Then an alif. Annasa. 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 Cool. So that's the end of our Qamaree and Shamsi letters. The main thing is that you pay attention to the Shamsi letters. That's the most important thing, because Qamaree letters are just pronounced like normal, right? So this is the most important part. Just practice drilling them, inshallah. Go over them, read them, send your recordings in the group, inshallah, and get checked. And I'll see you in the next lesson, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.